First Timothy chapter 4, starting at verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with an hot iron, forbidding to marry, and commanding to abstain from meats which the Most High hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. Call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the bishops, teachers, elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS. And peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect that be like the speckled bird. This is your brother Montezatba, back again with another video lesson. And Lord willing, this is edifying.
I discovered that the chicken was not a natural bird. That it was a crossbreed between an African jungle fowl and a buzzard or a vulture. I was shocked. See, the buzzard eats everything and anything, and it had the most incredible tasting meat on the earth. Because it ate everything. It had every flavor built into its flesh. Because you are what you eat, so the buzzard was what it ate. Everything. The African jungle fowl only ate grain, and it also ate food that was left over in the villages in Africa. But it wasn't afraid of humans. So it wasn't domesticated, but it wasn't afraid. But its meat tasted terrible. So they figured that it was very hard to catch the vulture and eat him. This was way back in the day. But if they took a jungle fowl and a vulture and somehow got them to go out on a date, that they would come up with a brand new bird, the chicken. Well, the chicken was an albino bird that does not live in nature by itself. You'll never find a chicken anywhere in the world running around. Only on farms. You have to change the biochemistry of things that are natural. The chicken is not natural. It doesn't run away. It doesn't fight for itself. The turkey is natural. The turkey fights. In fact, the turkey will break its eggs. That's why you don't see turkey eggs at the grocery store. They can't get to them. Okay?
Yeah, and that dude is a bug out. And I'm glad that this video has surfaced because I actually have somebody comment asking, can we eat chicken? And let me just say this to anyone that are new to the faith and you're coming across or you're stumbling across things like this or, doctrines of videos like this. Is very important that you learn how to do your due diligent research instead of just regurgitating off of what someone who thinks that they have the true understanding, okay, their doctrine that you learn off of, you think that it is the end all be all. All right. Now, to get an understanding, when we go to the dietary law, okay, Leviticus, the 11th chapter, and we're going to, we're going to focus on the fowls of the air. Okay. And we're going to start at verse 13 so that you guys can get the understanding. Right. And you know what? What I'll do is I'll read it in the NLT so it's plain. All right. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 13. These are the birds that are detestable, meaning abominable, to you. You must never eat them. The griffin vulture, the bearded vulture, the black vulture, the kite, the falcons of all kinds, ravens of all kinds, the eagle owl, the short-eared owl, the seagull, hawks of all kinds, the little owl, the cormorant, the great owl, the barn owl, the desert owl, the Egyptian vulture, the stork, the herons of all kinds, the hoopoe, and the bat. You must not eat winged insects that walk along the ground. They are detestable to you. You may, however, eat winged insects that walk along the ground and have jointed legs so they can jump. All right. And that's going into something else. So the birds, the list of birds that it listed, okay, you cannot eat, or it is defiled unto you, it's detestable, it is abominable. Now, people will ask where it doesn't say chicken in there, so how do we know chicken is clean or known as unclean? Well, chicken comes from the family called Phoenicidae, okay, which is starts with the old world quail. All right, and let's prove that. Let's get Exodus, the 16th chapter, okay, because they come from the family line of quails. Let's go back to the King James. This is Exodus chapter 16, starting at verse 12. It says, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, at evening ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh your power. Because during this time when we was in the wilderness, okay, we were complaining of not having the sort of abundance of food the same way we kept in Egypt. Okay, because you had certain Israelites that were complaining, saying when we were in Egypt, we had everything, fish, garlic, and, you know, just everything to their own delicacy. Right. But watch this, verse 13. And it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp. And in the morning, the dew lay around about them. OK, so the children of Israel, they were commanded to gather up, you know, as because the Lord sent manna from the heaven above. So they were, you know, commanded to gather up as much as they can. And he gave them flesh to eat. Now, when you look up a quail, which we're going to do, OK, the common quail, this is how it looks. Looks like a little baby chicken. Right. And by the way, these things are very good to eat, man. I grew up on quails. They're very good to eat. Very good. And this is a clean bird that you can eat. It says the common quail or European quail is a small ground nesting game bird in the peasant family Phoenicidae. It is mainly migratory, breeding in the western Palearctic and wintering in Africa and southern India. With this characteristic called of the three repeated chirps, this species of quail is more often heard than seen. So now let's look up the Phoenicidae family. It says the Phoenicidae are a family of heavy ground living birds, which includes pheasants, partridges, jungle fowl, chickens, turkeys, old world quail, and peafowl. Now, notice it says old world quail. The old world is talking about the East, because everything originated in the East, the Levant region. OK. And what you have to understand, the subject of the matter is we're dealing with chickens. Chickens come from the Phoenicidae family. OK. So these birds will be considered clean. OK. So now what we have to understand when we go into chickens, OK, right? Chicken itself comes from jungle fowl, which is right here. Now, the title is the chicken and hybrid animal, because this is where a lot of people get confused. So let's have a little bit of a read. And for those of you who don't know, this is an African jungle fowl. OK, looks like a chicken. Right. It says chickens. They are among the most ubiquitous animals on Earth, with over 25 billion in existence and a population that continues to grow. But what is the story behind these birds? What did they evolve from? Are chickens man-made animals? Is chicken an hybrid animal? Right? Here's the short answer. Chickens are not hybrid animals. And hybrid animal is the offspring of two different species or subspecies. And chickens originate primarily from one ancestor, the red jungle fowl, or Gallus gallus. You can look this up. The gray jungle fowl, green jungle fowl, and Ceylon jungle fowl have contributed some genetic material to the gene pool of the chicken, which is evidence of interbreeding, but chickens are not considered hybrid animals, although it is slightly more complicated than that because hybridization does occur between different chicken breeds among chicken keepers. A hybrid chicken is a term used for crossbreeding pure breeds such as Rhode Island Red, Araucana Cross, or a Barrett Rock Silver Lace Wyandotte mix, right? It says, and in common usage, the hybrid chickens specifically refers to certain industrial breeds such as ISA Brown and Cornish Cross. You ever heard of the term Cornish hens, right? A lot of y'all would have ate Cornish hens growing up. Those of y'all who know what I'm talking about. It says, which are bred to be efficient egg layers and meat chickens, respectively, right? A lot of times in your stores, if you're going to the store and you're getting your meats that are prepackaged instead of getting them from the butchers, sometimes on the package they'll have either grass-fed or caged, right? If they're grown up or raised to be caged animals, more than likely they're crossbred. Okay, they're more than likely crossbred. But if they roam around free, okay, they will be considered wild, which is what you want. That's the difference. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they don't understand that. Okay, because this guy, he said that they were a crossbred from jungle fowl to the vulture. Well, that's not true. And there's no evidence of that I've been able to search or look up. All right. One of you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, if you do find some information on that. But this is why it's very, very important to learn how to prove someone by going and doing your own research. OK. Now, if you want to read a little bit more, I'll leave this link in the description box. All right. But for the sake of sound. All right. The chickens come from the Phoenicidae family, which is the same as quails come from. Now, we ate quails in the wilderness, so they are in the same family line, as well as turkeys. Now, give you a little bit rundown on the turkeys. You have something that's called the wild turkey, and you have something that's called the turkey vulture. Okay. When you look up wild turkey, okay, animal, not the actual liquor. All right. These are clean. These fall into the Phoenicidae family. You can eat this. Okay. You are allowed to eat this. This is clean to you. Okay. It comes out of the same family as the quail. However, you also have something that's called turkey vultures. Okay. This animal is unclean to you. This is a turkey vulture. Okay. You cannot eat this, as we read in Leviticus, the 11th chapter. You cannot eat vultures. Okay. So it's very simple. Learn how to look things up and put two and two together. Okay. Stay away from this. Now, for those of you who say, well, how do we know when we buy it in the stores? Look, it should tell you in the stores whether it's a wild turkey or I'm pretty sure they won't be selling turkey vultures in the stores. But, you know, you may have, if you're down south, they may actually do that. Who knows? All right. But this is where you have to learn how to read the labels and stuff like that. And look, if you're reading the labels and you can't find any information and then it doesn't sit well with your spirit, then don't buy it. It's as simple as that. Don't buy it. OK, don't be over righteous much. All right. If you have a taste for some chicken or some wild turkey legs or whatever, you can eat it. All right. Because what did Apostle Paul say? All right. Don't when you go to the meat market. All right. Because we know that our foods are defiled. All right. We understand that our foods are defiled, but we can't do nothing about it. We should just pray over it. Right. This is First Corinthians chapter 10, verse 25. It says, whatsoever is sold in the shambles, meaning the meat market, that eat, asking no question for conscience sakes. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So, everything that was given to us according to the dietary law, everything that is clean, that is, okay? When you buy it over the counter, as soon as you get home, pray over it. Okay? Pray over it. All right? That's what you're supposed to do. All right? It says, verse 27, if any of them that believe not bid you to a feast. So say, for instance, if you go to a brother's house and he says, hey, man, you want some roast chicken or some roast turkey or whatever, and you don't know where he got it from. You don't know if the, turkey is this or how they killed it. All right. Because there's also in the law to tell you that if an animal dies on its own, we're not supposed to touch it. OK, we can only go and kill that animal when it's alive. But you can't. Let's say, for instance, you got a let's say, for instance, goat or lamb, which you can also eat. Let's say, for instance, you found a lamb dead. Well, you're not supposed to touch it or kill it and then cook it. We're not supposed to do that. That's a part of the law. Well, nowadays we're living in a society where you don't know what these butchers are taking animals that they found dead, and then they're just skimming them up and putting them through the butchers to slaughter the meat and stuff and selling them through the meat market. We don't know that, or the butchers. We don't know that. So that's why, it says here in verse 25, whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. Okay, when you go to the butchers, get your meats, whatever meat you cook for that evening for you and your family, pray over it in the names of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to cleanse it. That's it. That's all you do. It's nothing. Don't go above the means of beyond. Keep it simple. Okay. Because the scriptures tells us that, we was going to eat our bread defiled. Right. Ezekiel 4:13, and the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. So wherever we are scattered among the planet Earth today, guess what? All of our food is tampered with, man. Even the things that you're buying, like such as the herbs, because I know a lot of y'all are probably into the whole tea and the burdock root and all of that sort of stuff, which that's all good. But still, even that's tainted. Because the ground that they're getting the roots and stuff from, the Esau Edom, he sprays it with pesticides, the orange liquid stuff on the ground, poison and all of that. So your fruits, your vegetables that's coming up from the ground, okay, everything gets tainted. All right. The vitamins and everything that you take, they're not even real. So, that's why we need Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to come and get us the hell up out of here, man. All right. But for conscience sake, all right, when you go to the meat market and you stick to the dietary law, okay, whatever it is you buy when you come home, when you cook it, pray over it. That's all you do. Pray over it in the names of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right. So, as I said, the chicken is clean. I don't know what this brother is talking about, where he's gotten his doctrine from, but we proved that the chicken, as well as the turkey, all right, the chicken actually comes from the jungle fowl. It's pretty much the same animal. It's just a wild chicken. Okay. And it comes from the Phoeniciidae family, which is where the quails come from, because we ate quails in the wilderness. All right. So, yeah, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, and hopefully to you chicken lovers out there, we can now put this to rest. And to you, people out there, you've been told not to stay away from chicken. Hopefully this is giving you some sort of insight to be able to go further, to take what I brought out in this video, but go further and look things up yourself. OK, so with that, I like to give all praise, glory and honor to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Rakakwadash. Until next time, shalom.